Alright, so it's Friday. We're drifting tomorrow. It's been raining today. I hadn't done much in the shop. The only thing I've done is worked on my son's car for just a minute, trying to get that alignment. I've got to get some toe plates. It's just kind of guessing until I can get something more solid to measure off of. And I got both cars loaded up, gathered up all the tools. I think I got most everything we need. His helmet's in the car, mine's in the truck here. So he put his a boy, he put him some mufflers on his ride here. Put some old tractor flaps. Yeah, it's loud, it's crap. We just slapped some small wheels on. We're gonna try to, which I've got it cinched down and pulled down, but we've got mine locked in too. I decided to take the 240. So I got to fuel up. I think I need fuel in the 240. I don't know if he needs fuel or not. But I think I do in the 240. Definitely in the rollback. So we get some fuel. And I'm gonna go park all this. It's only like 2 o'clock, so I'll take this rig over to the house, park it, bring my BMW back out if I come out. May work around the shop till after dark or something. Clean this mess up I've got in here with this 2J stuff. But all right, here we go. All right, I got all the drift stuff loaded up. We got all that took to the house. I should have got fuel. I'll do that in the morning. I just had a lot going on and I didn't feel like fooling with it. But either way, I went by the machine shop and just check on some things. And these, I done a video forever ago about reusing some pistons. These are those pistons cleaned up and the same rods. I did a video on the rods. These are the Eagle rods and these are the Wiseco pistons for a LS motor. So my machinist cleaned them up. Now they're just cleaned up, the ring land's checked. We haven't balanced them, so that's the pistons. There's the rods. Those are the Eagle rods. If you go back in my early videos, you'll see some stuff where I was comparing some rods and some pistons, reusing some pistons, looking at the condition of them, see if they're reusable, buying them cheaper. But yeah, I think that's a score, so that'll be a built LS motor. The rods I think are Eagle rods. They claim 900 horse with a 3/8, maybe 3/8 bolt. I don't know, but yeah, it's not the scat rods. I still got the scat rods put up. Well, 3 of them are in a motor. The other one's somewhere. But that motor is a B16 A2. No, it's a JDM B16A SIR2. Yeah, so like an A295 in Japan, the B16. So, but it was a built motor. So the only thing missing in it will be one piston. I don't remember the condition of the block itself, but the other 3 pistons are good and all 4 of the rods were good. So that's for an LS motor, and so I got those back. So I'll wrap those up and put them away somewhere for now until I figure out an LS build. Actually, I have a couple of LS motors, like Honda LS motors somewhere. But all right, here we go. Moving on. So the 2J stuff, I didn't get a chance to get to my mess, which I'm not too worried about the mess right now because I'm gonna come clean first of this week. But what I'm doing right now is disassembling the rods off of the pistons. And yes, I mix matched the dad blame rod ends, rod caps. So that's a problem. I'll have to deal with that later. but my machinist is gonna hate me. If you mix match rod caps, so when you have a rod and you have a cap, and when they split that, they're never exactly perfect. So you always want to keep the rod cap with the correct rod. Same thing with your main caps. On a motor, you always want to keep the main caps on what motor they came on, because they're not always exactly 100% perfect. So now this might call for an oversized bearing. So we'll have to sit down and mic every single one of them and get the measurements and try to get the correct combination. That's what I gotta do now. But right now I'm actually gonna just pull the pistons off. I'm gonna probably get those cleaned and the rods and take it all to him and let him balance them and find the correct main cap or rod cap. So that's what I'm working on. So I'll go through the procedure of removing one of the wrist pins on a motor that's been submerged in water. So first off, get some handy dandy brake cleaner, and I've already cleaned them a little bit. And this one's the one I'm worried about, actually. There's some scarring on this one pretty bad. You can actually feel that. I think with new rings, that'll never touch the cylinder wall. I think we had either a ring issue or a bore issue, and I'm hoping that there's not an issue with that bottom ring gap right here where that ring just about come off. That thing feels like it's almost stuck. So we may not be able to use the pistons out of this motor. I don't know just yet. So that's one thing I'm worried about. But continuing on. All right, inside here, inside this little circle, there's a clip. And I've got a screwdriver, it just happens to fit right, there's little notches right there. I don't know if you can see, but there's a notch there and a notch there. So what I do, I'll shove that down in there and pull that clip out. Set it to the side. All right, now this wrist pin will actually come out. So the deal that goes through there that holds this rod onto this piston that goes through there will now come out. Well, there's a clip on this side, so it can't go this way. I just removed this one so we can go that way now. It's kind of a little bit of a chore here, but with the wrist pin being kind of gauted up and just having a bunch of miles on it and stuff, this is kind of my procedure of doing it just to get it out. There's a press and stuff, but I don't want to put pressure on this piston with a press. But that's how I'll do it, a little bit at a time. This will be my starter socket. And that's it. And there's the wrist pin, and you can kind of see where it's wore a little on that side. We'll go back in now that we've got our piece out, our rod. We'll go back in, try not to hit the sides. Now this side, we can actually use this one, that's the equal side, because there's no ring on this side and or clip, and you won't hit the clip. I'm I'm sure this would be easier if I had a press, but I'm worried about messing up the, and you'll hear it hit solid when it hits the other side, right there. So when you hear that sound, you know that jewel's all the way back in as far as it'll go. You've ran into this side. Okay, so now this clip there and them little notches, I'll take one end of it and kind of put it kind of angled to where it touches that notch. I don't know if you can see that, but that side is sitting in that little notch, that corner. And I'll hold it right there, and I'll get my screwdriver and go under that piece and just roll it, and it should kick it right down in there. So there's our pieces back in there. And now our wrist pin's back in. Our machinist will have to take it back out, but I don't want to lose them. He'll probably take them out and clean them and clean all that, make sure everything will move as it should. So I'm worried about that side though. That's kind of worn, if you can see that. The other sides, you can see, you know, the discoloration here or whatever, but you don't see them, those lines. I'd say it'd be okay as long as it just didn't take too much weight off, and it don't look like it's wore it way down any. Looks just as thick as the other side, but I think it should be okay. And then I'll clean it one last time with some brake cleaner. And again, these will go to the machine shop and be prepped. They'll be blasted and cleaned and have a bunch of solvent and crap and be tip-top shape. But so that's what we do there. And that's how I take the pistons and rods, separate them. And the pistons aren't the most important part of this equation right now. It's the rods. And the rods all look to be straight. I don't see any bent or anything. So I think we're good on our rods. And yeah, as long as I can get the rod caps figured back out, which that should be okay. It'll take a minute, but it'll work. We can get it. But all right, here we go. All right, so sometime after this weekend, I'm gonna come back and pressure wash the, I think it's a rear sump. I've got a front sump and the pans on both, and then I've got another rear sump in that mess, or front sump rather, in that mess. So 2 front sumps and a rear sump. I mean, yes, that is right. 2 front sump oil pans and a rear sump oil pan. They get all those pressure washed. Probably take the blocks, both of them, to the machine shop this next week, and have them gone over, have them honed and cleaned, and just gave a once over on both of them. And then I can package them up and then bring them here and kind of put them out of the way. That'll be one less thing. So I did try, if anybody wants to know, I took the non-vvti oil pump and I slid it on the VVTi bottom end on the crank, because it's the gears on it. So the gears are definitely the same. I've always seen that I guess they're the same. So I didn't know, you know, physically if there was any difference, or they look the same. They appear to be exactly the same, so I guess they are. And supposed to get another non-vvti motor actually in the next couple days, possibly. Better, because I paid for it. So I'm waiting on them to call, give me that word there, and we're gonna go drifting tomorrow. I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna eat supper, get into bed early, and get up early and go fuel up, and we're gonna drift in the rain. I like drifting in the rain. It's actually pretty fun. All right, that's it. That's a wrap for what I'm doing today. Shop's still a mess. But either way, here we go.